Hey there, this is Steven with Karma Astrology, and I'm coming to you live on Saturday, April 17th, 2021 from Santa Fe, New Mexico to talk about the moon and the other planets, but mainly the moon as it currently resides in the sign of Gemini. As you can see over here, that MO is the moon in Gemini, and in the nakshatra or Indian constellation of Ardra. Now, in general, this is a Vedic astrology forecast, so it deals with the Indian zodiac as well as the Western zodiac as we know it. They're both part of the same. They overlay each other, and this ancient Indian zodiac had 27 signs instead of the 12-sign zodiac which originated in Mesopotamian astrology. So, that being said, the moon today is in Gemini. Now, Gemini is an Aries sign, and it deals with, well, it's a Mercury-ruled sign or connected with the planet of Mercury. So it has to do with communication and being able to express ourselves and receive information, as well as just kind of have fun and play around with different ideas and thoughts and things like that. And the moon, being our sensitivity and our sense of compassion and connection to other people coming into Gemini, shows that we're going to be more inclined to connect to other people through communication, talking with our friends and family. We're going to be more inclined to learn things, to absorb information, and to just kind of have a sort of playfulness or gentleness to today as this kind of mercurial energy of the day and the next couple days, as the moon is in Gemini for about 2.5 days. It goes through each sign. And that'll show that we're kind of a little more light, a little more playful, but at the same time our emotions can vacillate a lot more between all of the different emotions that we can feel. So we can feel a little bit more jovial, but at the same time, maybe 10 minutes later, we can get upset and get aggressive and feel a little just emotionally perturbed and go right back into more of a grounded sense, because this Gemini mercurial air energy shows that our thoughts are kind of dictating our feelings in a lot of ways. And so we have to be careful not to be too influenced by our thoughts and the random thought patterns, and maybe choosing, we need to be more aware of which thoughts we can just kind of let flow through our mind and which thoughts are useful for us to pay attention to and focus on. It's a very key kind of thing to do and when the moon is in Gemini. And then on top of that, the moon is actually situated right next to Mars, as you can see up there. It's only a few degrees away still. It's past it, so that the energy's waning, dissipating a little bit, getting a little easier. But in general, when the moon is next to Mars, we can feel more aggressive, we can feel more protective, more defensive, and in general, just there can be a little more anger or feistiness to our attitudes. So it's also important to kind of tone it down, knowing that we have, more of a tendency to maybe fight or get angry about something or upset about something. Now, kind of in line with that, the moon, if you look at where it is, there's 3 letters after it that are ARD, and that stands for Ardra. Now, Ardra is one of the 27 Indian constellations, or Vedic constellations. And each of these constellations is connected with a symbol, with a deity that kind of shows the type of archetypal energy behind that day or that section of the sky. And when the moon comes through that section, then we're able to feel and be extra sensitized and kind of connected with that energy that it's kind of transmitting through the moon like a lens. So when the moon comes into Ardra, Ardra is it's really one of the most intense nakshatras. So today is actually a very, very, it's a very intense day. It can be a little dark if we're not aware of kind of getting sucked into these Ardra-like feelings. And I'll get into that now. So Ardra is connected with a deity called Rudra. Now Rudra is basically the predecessor, is Shiva. It's pretty much the same exact spirit, although Shiva's more the modern version and Rudra was this ancient Vedic version, so from thousands of years ago. as opposed to Shiva, which most Hindu people kind of associate with or connect with or worship, depending on your sect of Hinduism. If you're a Shivite or something like that, that would be your kind of god. And so Rudra is very connected with Shiva in that Shiva is the destroyer and about kind of the emptiness of the universe and the ability to just be in a lot of ways. And so when Rudra comes into the picture, Rudra can lead us more towards Rudra's. Let's just talk about the meaning of Rudra. In general, Rud means to cry, or to howl, or to shed tears. So there's not necessarily the most uplifting feelings there, but it is definitely connected with painful feelings and the sense of disassociation and disconnection from where we are kind of connected to nature in a way, but we see all the superficial elements in the world and in society and in culture that cause us to shed tears or feel sorrow or disconnected in general from from the greater picture of humanity. And it shows where we want to, Rudra kind of brings in, Rudra is the god of storms. And so Rudra brings in these storms in order to cleanse society, in order to cleanse the world, just like a storm will cleanse the air particles, just having the raindrops connect to the particulate matter in the air, and that gives us a more fresh, breeze after storms are kind of gone and have washed away all that dirtiness and all the discontent and the difficulty in society. So there can be this sense of wanting to destroy something today in order to get to a better outcome, in order to clear the air. We might be more inclined to get into arguments or fights, or stand up for people that we feel are downtrodden. That's definitely a big theme of Ardra, is seeing those who are on the lower rungs of society and not necessarily getting the respect that they deserve as beings, as part of the whole. And so Rudra kind of makes us keenly aware, especially when the moon is in Ardra. This energy kind of makes us keenly aware of where people are feeling pain and suffering, and gives us the impetus and the desire to help them out and to really kind of uplift and raise up the intelligence of society in order to flush out maybe the problems or these societal distortions that we live under when humans get into big groups and create civilizations and things like that. It can get pretty distorted, as we can see in this world today. So that brings me to today. You might be feeling upset about the housing market or the financial markets or the whole system being kind of this house of cards, this house of fakery, and how it does feel like we need this kind of sweeping, cleaning, um, you know, dare I say, reset, but in a positive way, something that brings us closer to nature and our connection with each other on a more natural level, where we're kind of observing the natural phenomena of the world and natural laws and living our lives in accordance with natural laws, as opposed to some of the distorted man-made laws that are existing in society and have always existed in society. So I'll show you where that section of sky is. I have a little sky map up here that I like to show. So Rudra, or Ardra, excuse me, they sound so similar that it's easy to just say the god's name instead of the actual constellation in the sky. But Ardra, the constellation, is, as you can see here, it's actually the left shoulder of Orion. So you can see where the moon is, and if you look down to the right, you can see that it's pretty close to the horizon right now. I'll try and change that a little bit so you can see it a little better. Let's see. Yeah, maybe that's a little better. So, Orion is down here, and then that bottom, just I guess bottom down and to the left of that highlighted Orion is that shoulder of Orion, and that's called Betelgeuse, as most people know that star, and that is what we call Ardra. That's the star, the location of where the moon is on a day like today, and you can see as I move it forward in time, that the moon will get, that the moon will get kind of traverse over that star as it kind of proceeds along the zodiac. That might give you a little bit of a better angle on it. But yeah, it's a little confusing because as we go through time, this is adjusting for, our view of this section of sky with regards to the horizon or our reference frame here on Earth. So you can see that bright star. This is actually a little bit of a better view. This bright star, here we go, Betelgeuse. It shows up here, and so that is Ardra right there, and it shows this kind of masculine and deeply masculine and deeply feminine aspect of Gemini, which is symbolized by the man and woman, Castor and Pollux, kind of holding. Here they are. Castor and Pollux, a very masculine man and a very feminine woman. So Gemini kind of taps into these deep polarity, this deep polarity in gender that we experience, and that a lot of people, perhaps people in the queer community and alternate communities, feel more connected to this part of the sky because they have that masculine and feminine qualities in different amounts, and they feel like they want to balance and find that what's right for them in terms of their self-expression and their ability to just be who they are in a lot of ways. So this nakshatra can definitely relate to kind of the destruction of the maybe societal norms that might be a little distorted and not necessarily based, that might not necessarily be based on inclusivity and truth and a sense of kind of integration of both the masculine and feminine principles which live within each of us. So that might be something that you're fighting for on a day like today, if that's your thing, or it might be about animal rights. There's a lot about protective and defensive energy for those that you love and you care about on a day like today. And then let me talk about the things, the kind of the strengths of when the moon is in this part of the sky, and the weaknesses. Basically, the strengths are that we can think a little quicker, we're more curious, we crave knowledge, and we're willing to look for it and seek it. It gives us a better memory, better communication skills. It kind of hones us in on the truth, and it gives a lot of compassion towards those that are suffering. And on the weak side, sometimes, if we're feeling the distortions of this part of the zodiac, so there's that polarity I mentioned of being mercurial or fickle in our mind and in our emotions, the difficult side, and this would lead to more of the painful emotions, of course, are when we get too arrogant, when we think we're right and everyone else is wrong, ungrateful for, society and the things and the benefits of it, of culture and society and those things. We can get kind of antisocial, reclusive. It can be a little too self-serving and stubborn, and there's definitely this kind of angsty, aggressive, destructive nature to today that we can take a little too out of hand, if you have a tendency towards destructiveness in your life. Still alive, and I guess I'll just edit this out. But in general, sorry about that. My computer battery died and, didn't see the notification as I was doing this stream. So in general, we can be a little more destructive and maybe disrespectful of other people. And that's something we need to be aware of and just try not to get too deep into this destructive tendencies of a day like today. But if you do need to kind of, if you are in a position where you do need to destroy something, where you need to clear the air with somebody, and confront somebody, that is a more favorable day for doing that. It's a great day for doing research. It's a great day for kind of discussing the issues in the world and society and difficult situations, and looking kind of into the darkness and seeing if there's ways that we can influence society or change ourselves so that we become, the world we wish to see, as Gandhi said. In terms of unfavorable activities, it's not a great day to start something new. It's not a great day for getting married or any sort of religious ceremonies. It's not a great day to travel in general because of the general destructive nature on a day like today. You want to just be more settled and just focus on being more grounded to balance out that mercurial moon in Gemini and Ardra. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of these, more content. I apologize about the technical difficulties I've had today, and I'll edit this video. Hopefully you won't even notice that. But otherwise, yeah, give me a comment if you have any questions, and feel free to join me anytime I do these videos and ask me questions live. I'd love to be able to make this a little more interactive. Okay, so I hope you have a great day, and I'll